Okay, so I think that's a long enough break. Hope you all have fun constantly rewatching the marathon while I commit Steven Universe. But now I say it's time to snap back to reality. And by reality, I mean more of a jackass on the internet talking about a Furby and his Eggman robot defect. Literally, his whole origin is that he was a defect. He was doomed from the start. Now, after a crack in time, this is where the franchise kind of begins to dip in quality. Now, it's not Sonic Colors levels of shit.
Baldy nose hair!
Thank God. But most veterans of the franchise can't deny that the game started aiming towards a somewhat younger audience. So in other words, it pulled a FNAF before FNAF even existed. However, is this really the downfall of a once beloved franchise? Like Sonic or, let's see here. What else? Oh, Fortnite? Only one way to find out. This is Ratchet and Clank, all for one. Also, if you couldn't tell, I was kidding with the Fortnite line. You can't ruin what's already shit! Enjoy the show. Hello and welcome back to the Ratchet and Clank Revisit, everyone, for the first stop to what people call the modern era. So what, now we're basically giving Ratchet and Clank the Sonic treatment here? Ratchet and Clank is Ratchet and Clank. Anyways, it's Ratchet and Clank All for One. All for One is a platformer adventure game released for the PlayStation 3 in October of 2011, and just saying that is making me feel old as hell. This game actually had multiple working titles like Foreplay and multiple organisms. More like multiple orgasms! Joke's on you, Susan Wazowski, I can't be monetized! Now, when the game was released, it received rather mixed reviews, with a major complaint being the focus on 4-player co-op. Now, unless the teamwork level is that of 4 morons playing New Super Mario Bros. Wii, I say it's not justified. Why? Cause...
Nobody asked for your opinion. Wee-hee!
But after replaying it, is this really where the franchise begins to dip? Well, let me answer that question with another question. Is this game any good, and is it one I can recommend to you? Let's find out. So the game opens with Ratchet and Clank escorting Galactic President Captain Quark. Yes, somehow this bumbling buffoon got elected president. So whether it's Earth or space, we're all just Patrick when it comes to electing leaders. And before anyone jumps into the comments and say anything, I am aware of the comics, but if I have to resort to external media to have certain details filled in, you bet your left butt cheek I'm gonna bitch, Sonic Forces! Anyway, the three head to Luminopolis for something called an Intergalactic Tool of Justice Award. But just before Quark is about to give a speech, Nefarious returns. Wait, what? But didn't I see you blow up with your space station from the previous game?
Hi, it's me. I'm not dead, which is an awful surprise considering how many people wrote my obituary yesterday preemptively in case I did die. But I didn't, so suck on that.
Huh. Apparently Wikipedia said that Nefarious got teleported away right before the station blew up. Cool, he and William Afton were classmates in Eggman's class of surviving Michael Bay explosions. Nefarious then awakens a light-eating Zagru from cryosleep. Ah, so he also had a minor in Eggman's class of summoning random gods. Okay, I promise no more Sonic jokes. Maybe. But unlike Shadow in Adventure 2, the Zagru instantly turned its back on Nefarious as it began rampaging throughout the city. Glad to see Nefarious also attended Eggman's class of getting his ass betrayed by the god that he summoned. Okay, that has to be the last one. Right? Once the four of them took down the light-eating tapeworm, multiple robots show up that don't seem to belong to Nefarious. They do eventually wake up in a massive moon-sized drone.
You take the moon, and you take this gun, and you find Schnitzel, and you shoot his son.
And are rescued by a young galactic scout named Susie, voiced by Christina Pacelli, who you may know from some roles as the Loud House and... Ratchet, Clank, Quark, and Nefarious all reluctantly agree to join forces until this is all over, and the four escape the facility they were kept in and they find a Tharpod village, and later discover that the drone that captured them is known as Ephemeris, the creature collector. It takes the universe's most dangerous beast and brings them to planet Magnus. So if anyone is wondering where all the Karens will be going one day, you now know. The team agrees to get rid of Ephemeris and heads through the Dead Grove to the Northern Extraterrestrial Sorting Terminal, or NEST for short. After fighting a giant fire-breathing multi-eyed centipede called a Wigwam, because I guess this is Cuphead, the team finds the 5th holodiary of Dr. Frumpus Croyd, who is voiced by the returning Robin Atkin Downs. It shows that whoever is now in control of Ephemeris has plans for the monsters, because all of a sudden this is now Area 50-something from Monsters vs. Aliens. After finding Commander Spog, voiced by Jim Ward, at the nest, they find out that only the Architect knows how to defeat Ephemeris and head over to Terawa Forest beyond Octonaut K. They also find Dr. Croyd's 1st holodiary, which shows the happier times on Magnus, which probably means he was getting more bitches than we do. While in Octonaut K, they find Dr. Croyd's next 2 holodiaries. They show Dr. Nevo Binkemeyer, voiced by...
It is Isaac!
I mean, granted, you can't tell that's him since we're so used to hearing Horvitz ham things up, but this is Horvitz! Anyways, he was Dr. Croyd's colleague who betrayed him, ravaged his laboratory, and took Mr. Dinkles. That's one letter short off from Tinkle. How did you even find yourself here? Fuck you, that's how! Wait, this isn't going to be shown to a church, is it? No. Woo! Leave! When they reach Dr. Croyd's research station, they find Dr. Croyd's 4th holodiary. It shows that Nevo seized control of Ephemeris and modified it into what it is now, and that Nevo is responsible for everything Ephemeris has done. They also find that Dr. Croyd has moved his laboratory to the Phonica Moons, having expected Nevo to make an assassination attempt on him. So, meaning all of that searching was just as important as... Don't say the guard mission in 06, don't say the guard mission in 06, as important as my life! When the team reaches the Phonica Moons, they realize that Dr. Croyd has seemingly gone cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. This is also where we have... Just play it.
I think he needs to poo. I'll go get a baggie.
I think my brain just committed suicide.
After accessing the lab's computer... No, not yet. Not yet. Nefarious discovers that Ephemeris has a charging dock that recharges its power cells, the dock being stationed on the Villarog Plateau just outside of Uzo City. The team takes Dr. Croyd's escape pod to the Villarog Plateau, but on the way Ephemeris attacks them and they crash land into the polar seas, unable to contact Kronk and Zephyr. When they discover a railway station, they find that it's broken. Quark, fake dying, attempting to make amends with Nefarious. Just then, the plumber appears and fixes the railway platform so the heroes can travel to Uzo City. So, plumber ex machina, everyone? The team reaches the court of Ephemeris. They discover that Nevo is not actually in charge of Ephemeris, having been betrayed by Mr. Dinkles, who is possessed by a Toranuk spirit known as the Loki Master. You could just call him Bill Cipher as a D&D monster.
Buy crypto, suckers!
Now after a long and fierce final fight, Dr. Croyd and Nevo manage to extract the Master, which is promptly destroyed by Nefarious. I'm sure this will be very important to his character later in the franchise. Now soon afterwards, Kronk and Zephyr arrive, revealing that they finally received help from Lawrence. Nefarious and Lawrence steal Kronk and Zephyr's ship and leave the heroes stranded on Magnus. Thankfully, Ratchet remembers that Ephemeris is still active and everyone decides to use it, so they return to Luminopolis. But wait, there's more! There is a Marvel-style end credit scene where Ratchet finds the annoying new characters and eradicates their bloodline with an atomic bomb that he got from Jak and Daxter and... Just kidding, I wish. Actually, Lawrence tells Nefarious of a secret route they could take past the barrier set by the Polaris Defense Force. During this, Nefarious is saddened while looking at the picture he had taken with Ratchet, Clank, and Quark, ending all for one. And that's the plot. wow, this is a big downgrade compared to what we had previously. It's not a bad plot, it's just that this was clearly made with a younger audience in mind. The jokes are more childish, the plot twists are bigger than Jupiter, and more obvious than the colors on that dumb dress, which is clearly black and blue, and this story clearly stinks! Like, seriously, writers.
You wrote some really disturbing fan fiction.
The voice acting done is honestly pretty good despite all that, but the game did start the running gag of Ratchet just wanting to retire, which may be a mad joke considering that it's commonly said that the franchise should have ended with the last game. As for the new characters like Croy, Nemo, and Tinkles, chuck them into a black hole where Tachyon found himself at the ends of Tools of Destruction. As for Susie, look, I don't hate kid characters, there are some exceptions, one of them I'm not naming, but Susie, I'm glad we only saw her in this game because I can't stand her. And the main characters themselves aren't flanderized, but they could just be boiled down to...
I'm surrounded by idiots.
Ratchet understandably wants this adventure to end. Quark is somehow more of an idiot than Peter Griffin. Nefarious, he's still hilarious. But Clank, I think he got the Colors Tails treatment. And yes, I know another Sonic reference in the review has nothing to do with Sonic, but it fits because even after rewatching the cutscenes on YouTube, did Clank matter to the plot at all?
No!
So, we're already starting off bad. But can the gameplay more than make up for the plot? Let's take a look. Gameplay of All For One has us in control of either Furry, a robot with a British accent, a moron, or Nefarious. Name of the game is platform, shoot, collect bolts, and be as much of a prick to the person you're playing with, like you're an asshole on Twitter talking about Super Smash Fire Emblem fuckwads! Oh yeah, the review. Basically, it's the same song and dance as the previous games. Sort of. Gone is the third-person POV from before, now it's...
What the hell is this?
I hardly classify this as third person. Now the main selling point of All For One is its local and online multiplayer. And usually this is where I make a joke about saying how I'm an introverted fuckass who can't find anyone to play this, but joke's on you, I did find someone who was willing to record some multiplayer footage. Special thanks to Shay Midnight for not calling the authorities as I tied him to a chair and forced him to do this. I mean, helping me get the footage. We still have your standard guns, from pistol to a fucking bomb launcher to an electric whip that I think the Belmonts would have loved to have, as well as a special weapon for each of the characters. Ratchet gets the Doppelbanger, Clank gets the Zony Blaster, Quark with the Quantum Reflector, and Nefarious with the Cloaker. As per tradition, we have the Rhino, and normally we have to explore each planet to find the holoplants, but instead we find Croyd's secret labs, and how do we access them? By sucking up small woodland animals with these vacuums we get from Susie.
I want to see Mr. Who. Stop it! Stop it! It's scaring me! Leave me alone!
Instead of the Rhino being a missile launcher, it's now a mech suit! Too bad that the ammo count at max is 12. Meanwhile, AI partners get infinite ammo like this is Metal Gear Solid. Man, talk about Bayonetta levels of nerfing here. In terms of changes to the gameplay, instead of pressing triangle to access the quick select, it is done with the right analog stick, which may not sound like a bad thing, but if you're someone who has been playing these games back to back to back, like me, then you're more used to the original control schemes. Okay, now, let's talk about AI partners. Usually they are infamous for being incredibly bad, and I can't think of a better example than this game. You see, the game has a revive mechanic where you suck your fallen teammates into the vacuum and they somehow come back from that doormat.
No. You know what? That's it. I'm done. I quit. I give up. I tried. I really tried.
But whenever I'm on the other end of this situation, my AI partners just go brain dead and not revive me, meaning I have to pray to every single conceivable deity to make sure that they don't die. Otherwise, it's back to the last checkpoint with me. What would they fucking do?
Revive me already! Admit you're stupid! Over my dead body! Fine, I'm stupid.
But overall, despite what I said, the main core gameplay is pretty okay at best. Oh wait, the game runs at 30 frames per second. Never mind, gameplay sucks! Visually, this looks good. The environments are pretty, colors are still vibrant. This is the same Sonic dance, so let's address the elephant in the room, the new art style. The art style ditches the style that started in Tools of Destruction and adapted an even more cartoonish aesthetic, owing to its more lighthearted story and party-like gameplay. Ratchet's head is bigger, Clank somehow got taller, Quark appeared larger with a tiny head and his signature ass chin got smoothed out, and the fairy has shrunk in height. What do I think of this? To be honest, I don't mind it. Then again, this is coming from someone who thinks the DMC reboot Dante is okay, so...
Misa, take it with a grain of salt.
The arsenal of weapons, enemies, and bosses all look great, except for the Tornak Spear. All I think the artist behind that thing is draw the main outline, draw where the blue and lighter shades of purple will be, and boom, there's your final boss. Just like Sonic Unleashed. So visually, I say this is pretty solid for 2011. As long as we all look past the fact that Ocarina of Time 3D came out the same year, it's Sonic Generation. Now the soundtrack. I'm gonna keep it real with all you chiefs. I think this OST is bland. The only tracks that are actually worth living in my head rent-free are Tornado and Cradle, and these tracks are made for the trailers. Songs that are made for the trailers that turn out better than the actual OST is a really bad sign, you know. Is it because the two songs have lyrics? Maybe. Is it because they took a page out of the Sonic OST handbook and actually make them really catchy? Maybe. Will I ever stop making Sonic jokes in this video?
Why don't you mind your own business, pal?
But yeah, as much as an old school crybaby I might sound like for saying this, I like the old OSTs better than this. But now, let's recap. The story sucks, the gameplay is pretty okay at best, visually it is pretty good, but the OST is hella bland. So here are my closing thoughts.
It stinks. It stinks. It stinks.
Okay, with that out of the way, the game isn't terrible. I certainly played worse games, but I'd say this suffered from Pontac and Graf syndrome, where the writing took a massive dip in quality, where we went from saving time as we know it to... this.
I think he needs to poo.
Baldy nose hair! What isn't helping is that the story, while good in concept, I felt like it leaves a lot to be desired. Maybe with better writing this could have been a step up from A Crack in Time, but with the fact this was targeted at a younger audience, yeah, I don't think we're getting that here. Kinda suffers from security breach syndrome. You thought I was going to say Sonic Forces, did you? Shit! The core gameplay is good. It's just that everything around it sucks. Literally, but most figuratively speaking, the revive mechanic and the Rhino 6. Like seriously, talk about a Smash Ultimate Bayonetta level nerf here. I already told my thoughts about the visuals, so I'm not gonna repeat myself, and OST really is missing that charm from the older games. So, it's with all that in mind, Ratchet & Clank All for One gets my score of a 5 out of 10. But now, I want to know from you all. Did you play All for One? What did you think of it? And is it a game you would recommend to a friend? Leave your answers and more down in the comments. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it. And while you're here, consider subscribing and turn on the bell to be notified whenever I make a new video. As always, my social media links are down below. Special thanks to S&P Comic Studios for helping me with the writing process of this video. You should check out the content he makes so you can get more of the jokes he got up his sleeve. So, join me next time when I take a look at Ratchet & Clank Full Frontal Assault. Until then, take care everybody.